So I decided while I'm here, I might as well do another YouTube video. Yeah, 2 for the price of 1. So let's talk about this issue. Citizenship is a very important thing because your identity based on your nationality matters. See, here is the thing. People tend to get a little bit confused. But there's nothing really to be that confused about. It's not actually that hard to work out your citizenship. Okay, so basically my citizenship is not based on the fact I was born here in the UK. Even though my nationality is British. Only reason I am a British citizen is because my mother, even though she was born in Barbados, when it came time for people to apply for the citizenship in the 1980s, because she applied for British citizenship, which means at the time she had to give up her Belgian citizenship because unfortunately at that time in the 80s they didn't have this thing called dual citizenship, so she had to give up her Belgian citizenship. And so therefore when I was born in 1988, that means even though I was a British born, if she had decided, you know what, I'm not going to do it, I'm just going to keep my Belgian citizenship, my citizenship would be based on my mother. So therefore I would have been Belgian despite being born here in the UK. And to be fair, that's what I identify with the most, my Belgian citizenship. Now nationality is obviously based on where you're born, so yeah, I'm British because I was born here, but it's mainly because of my mother deciding to give up her Belgian citizenship why I'm actually British. I'm British because of her, not just because I was born here. And then when we're talking about ethnicity is basically stating what you are. So as you can tell, I'm a black woman, and there is nothing on earth that I would want to be other than a black woman. I am a black, British born West Indian woman. Yes, I am. And I am very, very proud of that. And I'm proud of the sacrifices that my ancestors have made so that we can be here. We are literally everywhere. You know, they found out, when was it, last month, that the very first person here in the UK was a black person. That the very first people here in the UK was actually black. Now certain white people are losing their fucking minds. They keep telling us to go back to wrong country, and that if we don't like how things work, we should go back. Like, first of all, I was born here in the UK, motherfucker, so you can't tell me to go nowhere. But if I had the chance to choose, you can pay a first class ticket for me to go to Barbados, and you can pay for me to have a house, land. You can pay for my breakfast, lunch and dinner, Russell. That's what you can do. Start telling us to go back home. Like, don't you white British people have anything better to say than telling us to go home? Like, really? You must not understand how this shit works, because let's keep it real. You was born in the UK, but majority of your ancestors weren't even from here in England. Some of you from like fucking Ireland, Scotland, Wales. But yet you're saying because you was born in England, you telling us to go back home. Right, so you go back home, take your ass back over to Scotland and go chill with your peeps over there. You go chill with your peeps over fucking there. Since you want to come chat shit, basically. Since you want to chat shit, you go back over to Scotland. You go back over to Ireland. Since you want to play that game. Since you want to play that game. Basically, last month, what I did, I said I'd had enough of this. What happened was HMP, the people who deal with taxes and all that kind of stuff, have basically said that up until 2012 or 2014, I don't remember what year it was exactly because I've basically erased it from my mind, have said that we was up until that point paying the families of the slave owners for their loss of the slaves. And this was the slaves who was in the West Indies and here in the UK. We was basically paying taxes that was going to them because they had lost their stock. They had lost their stock. And I'm thinking to myself, stock. These were human beings and you are referring to them as stock. As if they were fucking animals. And that really irritated me to the point where I was like, you know what? I decided to do a whole thread on how you can gain your citizenship in the UK. But before that, I had done another thread that said, you know what, I believe that every single British born West Indian should gain citizenship in their parents' and grandparents' countries. And I spoke about the reasons why, and also said, if you want to move over there, don't let no sun or shine stop you from moving over there. If you want to move to Barbados, you save up your money, whether it takes you 5 years or 10 years, and then you go. Or if you just want to be fast, save for a couple of months, and then just take your ass over there and go. Because people have done that. People don't have a job, but yet they're still able to survive over there. But what I would say is, if you don't have transport and you want to move to Barbados, you're going to make it very difficult for yourself. That's all I'm going to say on that. Okay, because there are ZR vans over there, but at the same time, they're not going to take you everywhere, because certain parts of Barbados, the ZR vans, no go so. No. But if you want to go there, or if you want to move to Jamaica, or you want to move to Antigua, or you want to move to St. Kitts and Nevis, or you want to move to Trinidad, or you want to move to its sister island, Tobago, take your ass and go. Nothing is stopping you in the world, because at the end of the day, like I also said within that thread, racism is not going anywhere. In fact, it seems to be getting worse. It's like we are going backwards in time. And it is so frustrating being a black person living in the UK and the denial that comes out of white people's mouth when you talk about racism. Racism isn't a thing. Racism is in the past, love. No, it's not in the past. It is really not in the past. How can you sit there and deny racism exists when it's right in your fucking faces? This is why we should no longer be talking to white people about racism. Stop talking to them about racism, because they do not care. They don't care. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your energy. Don't let their negative energy into your system. That's how people get sick. They don't seem to realise when you're absorbing too much negative energy, that's what's bringing you down. That's what's making you sick. You're always attacking someone for being racist. You're always, okay, if you just talking about racism you felt, and a white person comes up to you and says, well, I don't feel like you should be saying that kind of shit, and it probably wasn't even racism. Like, how the fuck would you know? How the fuck would you know though? How the fuck would you know, Simon? Just shut your ass all up. Like, there is only so many times you can counteract their nonsense that they fling at you all the time. It really gets you down. It gets your system down. You start feeling physically unwell. You're emotionally unwell. You're mentally unwell. Your spirit is just getting crushed. You don't need it. Trust me, you don't need it. Make a 5-year plan, yeah? Make a 5-year plan. What are the steps I need to make to get me to move to the Caribbean? What first step should be finding out about citizenship? If you don't already have your citizenship, what are you waiting for? Now, what I also did is within that the other thread I did, citizenship thread, I turned it into a Twitter moment. You know, you can turn things into Twitter moments, so it's easy for you to find and it's easier for other people to find. Because I did that, I no longer have to scroll throughout my whole Twitter timeline to find that thread. Because I turned it into a moment, I only have to swipe across and just click on moment, and it's one of two there. Because I also turned my Caribbean music thread into a moment as well, so if I ever decide to unpin it, it will be easy for me to find, you know. So it's cool that I was able to do that. And I've also been thinking about setting up a website that will help people to sort out their citizenship. It will also provide information to tell people about the history of the Caribbean, such as Caribbean music, what food people like over there. I also did talk a little bit about in my podcast. My podcast is called Chat With Me Podcast. It's on SoundCloud. SoundCloud is currently blocking me from posting because I'm running out of I've basically run over my limits, so I have to upgrade, but I can't upgrade just yet. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and record a couple more podcasts, and I'll have to upload them onto Apple. And then after I've done that, I'll get them onto SoundCloud afterwards. So yeah, that's basically what I gotta do, you know, but it's all well and good. But like I said, also in my podcast, I spoke about the Caribbean food, because food is food, but black people, we tend to like our food 10 times more. Let's keep it real. I mean, the food we eat in the Caribbean is just wow. You know, we like in Barbados, we got the flying fish and cuckoo. In Jamaica, we got the ackee and saltfish. We got dumplings. We got yam. We got dasheen. We've got star fruit. We've got mango. We got coconuts. It's heaven, basically. It's heaven over there. It's not perfect. No island is perfect. But when you think about all the stuff you have to deal with here in the UK, sometimes you just want a break. And honestly, one of my mum's cousins has moved to Barbados, and she honestly she said she was unhappy living here in the UK. So she moved to the Barbados, and I saw her last year, and to be honest, she seemed very, very happy over there. She said that she was going to be unhappy anyway. She'd rather be unhappy where it's sunny. So she moved herself to Barbados, I think about 2 years ago, and she's happy now. And she is happy, and I'm making steps so I can do the same thing. But first, I need to get my citizenship in Barbados first, which won't be a problem to be sorted out because I can do it through my mother. Even though I did explain she gave up her citizenship, I can still do it. As long as I have a birth certificate and a passport, I will still be able to do it. Before actually back in the day, Barbados used to say you could only do it if your father was Bajan born, which is so sexist, but now they changed the law where you can do it for your mother or you can do it for your father. So it's all working out fine, you know? It's all working out fine. So that is a really, really good thing. Jamaica, on the other hand, you can do it for your mother or your father, or you can do it for your grandparents, or you can do it through if you get married, you know. So you can do it if you get married, or in Barbados, I believe you have to live in Barbados for, I believe, 7 years. You live in Barbados for 7 years, and especially the year before you apply for citizenship through naturalization, you have to have been living on the island for exactly 12 months before you apply for that naturalization. So you can live on the island, but you can go abroad and stuff. But if you want to apply for citizenship through naturalization, the 12 months before, you must be on the island for that whole 12 months. So there's always options. If you cannot do it through descent for whatever reason, and you don't plan on marrying a West Indian man or West Indian woman anytime soon, you can do it through naturalization. Barbados, it's 7 years. Don't ask me about Jamaica. I'm not too sure about Jamaica, whether it even has a naturalization process. And also be wary that a lot of Caribbean countries don't have dual citizenship. Dual citizenship allows you to keep your citizenship from, say if you was born here in the UK and you have that citizenship, it allows you to keep that as well as gain a citizenship in the other country that you want to. But not every Caribbean country allows you to do that, unfortunately. But it does not matter. If you really want something, you will figure out a way of how to gain that information and to gain that citizenship that you require. Now, as far as Barbados, you can also get an ID card. Now, I believe you have to get your citizenship first before you can get the ID card. And you can also get a passport as well if you should choose to, though. A lot of people prefer to use their British passports because they can basically go anywhere without much problems. The only thing is, if you keep your Beijing passport, people tend to be funny like that. And which is really silly, but if you have a British passport, I would just advise you keep that British passport. But if you want to get a Beijing passport, there is nothing wrong with having two passports. There's nothing. It's just if you want to leave the country and go to England to visit, come into England to visit, then make sure you use your British passport, because you can leave the island perfectly fine with your Beijing passport. That's not the problem. It's when you hit here in the UK, customs are going to be fucking starting on you. Like, why do you have this Beijing passport? So always make things easier for yourself. That's all I'm saying. But me, when I get my Beijing citizenship, I will be getting that passport. I will be getting that blue thing. So, you know, I will be using both my passports. I'm so glad that my passport does not expire to 2020, because when is it? 2020, I think my passport expires. Which I'm actually happy about, because the prices are going up shortly. So I've got 2 more years to save. Hooray! I got 2 more years to save, so you know, I ain't got no stress. I ain't got no stress at all. So yeah, I'm giving myself these 2 years before I even have to worry about that. I ain't even worried. But like I said, if you require more information, I will be doing follow-up threads. I will be keep retweeting this information. If you don't follow me on Twitter, you can find me at SkinGlowingAfro. That's SKINGLO_Afro AFRO. And that's basically it. So I will be retweeting those threads again tonight. I will be linking some information in the description box about citizenship as well if you require more information. And I shall love you and leave you. Bye.